Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the NECA Toys, A Little Big Planet Kratos Sackboy. This is the third release from the folks over at NECA Toys, giving us really cool representations of Sackboy, how he appears in the game. Now, Kratos would be a skin that you can change out for Sackboy if you want to up his ante, I suppose, up his display. If you want to make him look a little cooler and a little more BA. BA, you know what I'm talking about. Down below, there's a picture of Sackboy. Happy Sackboy, unlike the poor, sad Sackboy that we already had a look at. Recommended for ages 14 up. This comes to us from the folks over at NECA Toys. Back of the package features Sackboy. Well, Kratos Sackboy, complete with his blades. Also available, there's Happy, Sad, and Kratos. To check out more from the folks over at NECA Toys, you can go to www.necaonline.com. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up, but when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Kratos Sackboy. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's get a look at Kratos Sackboy. He's essentially the same sort of Sackboy as Sad Sackboy. Give or take, roughly. It's roughly about the same sort of expression, though they have painted it a little bit different, and they've tooled extra things on his arms, the loincloth, and of course the swords on his back. But give or take, it's roughly about the same sort of Sackboy. His chin's a little bit different, but you can see the two together. Speaking of swords, if you spin the figure around, he has an area to hold his actual blades. This section could come off. You can unpeg it completely if you want to just have him without it. I might just ultimately do that. It just adds a lot of extra weight. His head's already really heavy, but you're adding not so much extra weight with this, but it also helps for him to kind of topple back a little bit. When you take the holster off, you can take the blades out as well. Whoops, and try not to drop the backpack. But you can take that and you can fit the blades into Sackboy's hands. They're very finicky, I would say, unfortunately. You have to really fight to get them in there. And of course, while I'm doing this, I want to make sure that Spot does not break the blades. I just pry his hands open just ever so slightly and get the blades in place. The finished look gives you something that looks like this. And again, really hard. It's not so much the problem is that the hands are really closed shut. And then the handles of the blades, because they're not just a skinny pull, I had to kind of wiggle the blade handle to get it inside his hand. Eventually got it in there, but man, I was really worried that those blades were going to break, at least the handles. But there's where he looks like, well, that's what he looks like with the blades in hand. And while you're at it, I've also retrieved, I would say backpack. I know you guys don't like when Spot always says backpack, but the little holster pack you can put back on his back. And it looks a little weird. I know it looks a little weird having just this. So again, I probably will just leave it completely off and then have him posed as you see right here. By the way, also some other comparisons. Let's have a look at the Happy Sackboy that we already first had a look at. Very drastically different. Bodies, well, I shouldn't even say the bodies are reused, because if you look at the stitch work on Kratos versus the original Sackboy, this one looks a little more, well, a lot more like yarn. This one looks more like a painted over kind of burlap stitch. I like that they've added so much extra stuff to it as well. The chains around his arms, the shoulder pad armor, as well as his loincloth. And all the little intricate stuff that they put on the blades too. Very nice touch. You know, I'm a sucker when it comes to Kratos as well, so getting this guy as a Sackboy, so very cool. In the way of his posability, it is pretty much the exact as the other Sackboys, although he's very limited in the legs for obvious reasons, because his cloth is just a solid plastic. There's not really a lot of places where the legs can go. You can rotate the legs ever so slightly, and you can move them out ever so slightly, but that's really about all they're going to be able to do. The shoulders, at least, can be hinged out. You can rotate the arms back and forth, and of course, he's got a ball joint in the head. Hopefully, NECA does give us more of the Little Big Planet Sackboys. Again, there are so many different ways to design him in the game that certainly the skies are the limit. And I guess really from a toy company perspective, Kratos could be a little more elaborate in design, yes, but if you take the initial core idea of Sackboy, you could really retool really only just the face. The body could stay the same for, I would think, most of the Sackboy releases. So it's kind of like the Predator line. I mean, NECA could give us so many different variations utilizing the same molds, which is always one thing that toy companies love to do. So cost-saving measures and just cute saving options. Hopefully they will give us more Sackboy figures. In the meantime, today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the third figure from the new NECA Little Big Planet release. And we're looking today at Kratos the Sackboy, or Kratos Sackboy. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.